I will take just one more class now, which is the measurement of KPI. So we'll be closing hopefully around 4. This is 2:30 already. So in the next 1 hour, 30 minutes, we should be done from here. Now we'll continue the section tomorrow, but we will not round up this week because I don't want to rush what we are doing. So I know it's a very big sacrifice. It's a very big sacrifice. But we'll round up this class by next week. Hopefully we'll round up the class by next week because we still have very important things to discuss. By what we are doing now, we could say we are done, but we still have strategic leadership and ethics, which is very, very important. We still have strategic innovation and entrepreneurship, which is very, very important. We still have strategic management in global context. So even if we cannot cover all the module at once, but let's get to that strategic innovation and entrepreneurship, and then we deal with strategic leadership, and then we deal with change management. If we can handle these 3, then we can assume that we've covered at least 90%. Okay, so please, you will have to bear with me. I would not want us to do a rush work and then at the end of the day, we might not understand what we're doing. So I will crave our indulgence. Next week, we do this again, 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock, or for Ghana time, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then hopefully by next week, but we'll continue the session tomorrow. We'll continue our session tomorrow by 4 p.m. That's 4 p.m. Nigerian time and 3 p.m. Ghana time. We'll continue the session 4 p.m. So if you're going for any religious activity tomorrow, try and come back early so that you can rest before 4. Okay, then we can proceed. Okay, measuring KPIs. Measuring KPIs. I trust everyone could see my screen on measurement of KPIs, measuring KPIs. So we've set KPIs. How do we get to know that the KPIs we've set, they are realistic enough? What are the methodologies that we can use in managing the measurement of KPIs? That's what we're going to be discussing in this session. So in the section's objective, we're going to look at explaining what KPI measurement is all about, elucidating the steps in KPI measurement, and then elaborate the methodologies and techniques in KPI measurement. Okay, some of the things we might be mentioning here may sound a little like jargon, but we'll try as much as we can through examples to explain them further. By definition, measuring KPIs or KPI measurement is the process of collecting, analyzing, and evaluating data to assess the performance of key performance indicators within an organization. So we want to collect the data, analyze the data, and evaluate the data that tells us about a particular KPI. So for instance, if we set our KPI on customer satisfaction, for example, we want to have a KPI on customer satisfaction, and the target is to have 90% customer satisfaction score, customer satisfaction acquisition and retention score. Okay, we want to have 90%. What the KPI measurement is asking is, how do you come up with the measurement? How do you come up with the measurement that 90% is a good score, 20% is a good score, 5% is a good score? And what are the measurements that you're going to have from the individual components that make up the indices that will tell you that, yes, this data is enough to support that particular KPI? That's what we want to have or want to look at in this section. Now, importance of effective KPI measurement. KPI measurement is essential for tracking progress towards organizational goals, identifying areas of improvement, making data-driven decisions, and ensuring accountability. and transparency. These are the core importance of KPI measurement. Now, steps in measuring KPI. Number one, data collection. Gather data or the relevant data from various sources, which may include sales record, customer surveys, production reports, or financial statements. So let's take, for instance, you set a target on improving sales revenue by 25%. So if you're able to get the 25%, you'll find out that there are particular sales record that tells you how the 25% came about. There are particular matrices that tells you about the competencies of the team that were able to make up 25 to get you 25% of your sales revenue in 1 month or in 1 year, as the case may be. So there are parameters. There are parameters that must be collected. Those parameters are the things that will form standards moving forward. Remember that one of the essence of strategy is establishment of patterns, establishment of procedures, documentation of ways through which a particular goal is achieved. So if we have data that can tell us how we got those goals, it will give us a great gain. So let's assume that you have competency records, and in your competency record, you have leadership, you have communication, you have interpersonal skills, and you have strategic thinking skills and all of that. And then you are able to say, okay, leadership, the people that were able to get us 25%, they have on the measurement of 0 or maybe 1 to 5, they have a scale of 4. Their leadership skills, we can rate it at 4. Their strategic thinking skills, we can rate strategic thinking and innovative skills, we can rate it at 4. Their ability to communicate, we can rate it at 5. Those data, if well documented and established, can help you in improving other people that will join the team some other time, so that you can have consistency in meeting up with the target and with the KPI set. Okay. The next thing there is the data analysis. Okay, so if you have all these records, you want to analyze and find the correlation between the records, between the data you've gathered and the results that you got. Okay, you want to find the relationship by analyzing the data that you got, so the relationship between the data and the results that we have gotten. This will also help in closing gaps. It will also help in standardization. It will also help in establishment of patterns. Then the next one is performance assessment. Evaluate the KPI against predetermined targets or benchmarks. Determine whether the performance is meeting, exceeding, or falling short of expectations. And this will be much more good to say, if your data collection is okay and your data analysis is okay, it is easier for you to say performance assessment is at average, it is below, or it is above average. Okay. Then you have the reporting. Present the KPI data in a clear and comprehensible format, such as charts, graphs, or dashboards. Ensure that the stakeholders can easily understand the results. So try as much as you can to use good reporting formats. So if you want to use Excel, make sure you have good dashboards you're going to use. If you want to use PowerPoints, if you want to use papers, what do you call it? Microsoft Word, whichever one you're going to use, please make sure that you have visuals enough to communicate. Then you have the action planning. Based on the KPI result, develop action plan to address issues, capitalize on strengths, and or optimize processes. Frequency of measurement. Decide on the appropriate measurement frequency for each KPI. So Mr. Andrews today said the target for customer acquisition is 50 customers in 1 year, right? That is the frequency you want to go with. 50 customers in the frequency is 1 year. Every 1 year we want to have at least 50 customers, right? Some other person may set a target of 50 customers every quarter. Another person can say 50 customers every month. Another person can say 50 customers every week. Another person can say 50 customers every day, dependent on the capacity of the organization per time. 50 customers every year as a startup is realistic. But 50 customers as a well-established organization in 1 year is a mediocre kind of target. So while we set 50 customers in 1 year as a startup, by the time we get to 2-3 years, we want to review our target, and the review of our KPI will be based on the measurement, the data available. All right. Okay. So some KPIs require real-time monitoring, while others may be assessed weekly, monthly, quarterly, or annually, just as the case may be. We are back again on continuous improvement. KPI measurement should be an iterative process. KPI measurement should be an iterative, so repetitive process. Regularly review and refine measurement methods and targets to adapt to changing circumstances. Okay, to adapt to changing circumstances. Data visualization. Use data visualization techniques to present your KPI results. The data visualization could be charts, graphs, tables, pie charts, any of the statistical tools that are not complex for people to understand, for you, the people you're communicating to understand, could be a very great tool. Okay, I'm going to send a document. Yeah, there's a document. One of my fellows, one of my fellow management consultants sent in one of our groups. I'm going to send that chart. That is the 8-point agenda of the current administration. So in case you're interested in what the government is looking at, you could take a look at that chart, take a look at that presentation. It will help. Then more importantly, I want you to look at how he was able to present his points without having to crowd everywhere with letters and numbers. Okay, that is very, very important. The techniques and methodologies for KPI measurement. You have the quantitative data analysis, you have benchmarking, balance scorecard, risk, key risk indicators, Six Sigma, data analytics and business intelligence, customer feedback surveys, and quantitative assessment. Now let's look at what each of them tries to say. The quantitative data analysis. In the methodology, organizations collect quantitative data related to their KPIs and analyze it using statistical methods. Quantitative data in this case could be in terms of time, the time spent, the resources used, volume of results gotten. Okay, those are quantitative. Okay. Now, the techniques here, you have descriptive statistics. You could use descriptive statistics in this case. Basic statistical measures like mean, median, and mode help summarize data. And then you have regression analysis. This identifies relationship between variables, enabling prediction and understanding of causality, that's cause and effect. Time series analysis used to analyze data collected over time to detect patterns, trends, and seasonality. Okay, yes, all the materials will be sent to us, all the materials, all, including the recorded videos, you have access to them. All right, thank you. Okay, now let's take a look at a case study on quantitative analysis method. How can we apply data, quantitative analysis method in KPI measurement? So let's take a scenario, a methodology, and then we'll look at the techniques, the different techniques that can be used. A scenario here, we have a retail chain wants to improve its sales performance. They collect quantitative data related to the various KPIs over several months to analyze and make data-driven decisions. The methodology here will be organizations collect quantitative data related to their KPIs and analyze it using statistical method. Now let's look at the statistical method. The descriptive statistics application, the retail chain calculates the mean, that's the average monthly sales revenue, the median sales revenue, and the most frequent sales revenue from the data they collected. The outcome here will be the mean reviews the typical monthly sales revenue, the mean reviews that's the average sales revenue per month. The median provides insight into the central tendencies. That's the most occurring, not the most occurring. The median tells They are midpoints. They are midpoints. They are middle cells. Okay. And then the mode indicates the most common sales revenue figure. These statistics help organizations to understand each sales performance at a glance. So if you're using descriptive statistics, you can calculate the mean of your sales per month. You can calculate the median. You can calculate the mode. Although this class is not about data analytics or data science, but I would recommend we take the time to review some of the things we learned in statistics, like mean, median, mode, right? It helps. Now we have another technique that can be used, the regression analysis. Application of regression analysis. The retail chain performs regression analysis to identify relationship between variables that might impact sales, such as advertising spending, discounts, Engineer Schweig, you're entering with 2 devices. Are you handing your one to your wife? Is your wife handling one?
Hello, boss. No, the network wasn't clear on one, so I decided to switch to another device. Thank you, sir.
Okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So then on the outcome, you have the regression is always comparative. Okay, so for those of us that run ads, digital ads, so you want to compare the ad you're running, the money you spent on the ad versus the result you want to get on the sales. How do they correlate? Is there an impact? If there is no impact, if the impact is not as good as you want it, then you may want to review. You may want to review. Okay. So the last time we did an ad, and I did not really pay much attention to it. I did not pay much attention to asking them what happened, how did it go, and all of that. I could categorically say we just spent the money for awareness. There was no, we were unable to close one sale from the ad. Okay, but people liked it. At the end of the day, I checked, people liked it. People asked questions, but we didn't get a single sale. So if we were to do comparison between expenditure and sales, the answer is that we didn't get any sales. So the target in terms of getting sales was not gotten. So that comparison can now lead you to asking the question, what happened? Why didn't we close a deal through this ad? At the same time, we gave a discount to the training, to the workshop we had. But 99% of the people that showed up that day were still members. So question is, why did you give discount on the workshop and yet nobody that is not a member came? Okay, so we had people that came that members brought, but not from the adverts that we did. That's what I'm trying to establish. Okay, so what happened with the ad? Why didn't we get results? Okay, so those are the questions you want to do. You have your target of getting maybe 25 persons by spending 50,000 naira on ad. You spend 50,000 and you didn't get 20%. You didn't even get one person that said, okay, I saw your advert on Facebook. That's what brought me here. So you need to review such. But principally, that's what regression analysis does. It tries to check out those things that have the capacity to impact sales and then run the relationship. Were they able to deliver? Okay. Which ones have the highest impact on the revenue or on that particular thing you want to target? All right? Okay. So through regression, the outcome is that through regression analysis, the organization discovered that there is a strong positive correlation between advertising spending and sales revenue. This suggests that increasing advertising budget could lead to higher sales. This is based on this own organization. Now, another technique that can be used on this same retail chain is the time series analysis. Application, the retail chain uses time series analysis to analyze monthly sales data over the past 2 years. The outcome is that time series analysis reviews seasonal sales patterns. For example, sales tend to spike during the holiday season and dip during the summer months. Armed with this knowledge, the organization can plan marketing campaigns and inventory management accordingly, optimizing sales during peak seasons. Okay, and I think this is what happened to us during the workshop that we just did. We feel like this period is a peak period for most organizations. So They might not really want to release their staff to go for a workshop physically. But we had over 40 people online that attended. But the in-class, we had about, I think, roughly 40 people in class too. But we expected more than that. Okay, so in average, we could say we had 40 people in class, 40 people online. But we expected more people on in class, because at the end of the day, the food we cooked, people went with double plate. I asked them to go with 2 plates. Yeah, each person should go with 2 plates. Okay, so you may want to find out times and seasons. Remember, I spoke about that when I started earlier today, that one of the essence of strategic management is what we understand times and seasons. Okay. In the sum up, in this practical example, quantitative data analysis techniques such as descriptive data statistics or descriptive statistics, regression analysis, and time series analysis help the retail chain gain insights into their sales performance. This data-driven approach allows them to make informed decisions to improve their KPIs and overall business performance. Another methodology there is the benchmarking. We'll talk about benchmarking today, which involves comparing an organization's KPI performance against industry standards or best-in-class organizations. The technique here is identify key metrics, select relevant KPIs for benchmarking, then have your data collection, gather benchmark data from industry reports, competitors, or industry association. They have the performance gap analysis, compare your organization's KPI with benchmarks to identify areas for improvement. Example, let's take a case study there. A case study on benchmarking. You have the scenario of a mid-sized manufacturing company wanting to assess its operational efficiency and improve key performance indicators related to production and inventory management. They decide to use benchmarking to compare their performance with industry standards. The methodology here, benchmarking, involves comparing an organization's KPI performance against industry standard or best-in-class organization. The techniques. Number one, identifying the key metrics. The application, the manufacturing company identify key metrics relevant to its goals, such as production cycle time, inventory turnover, and defect rate. Remember, they are gathering this data in comparison to other other companies within the industry. So they will gather the industry from the they will gather the data from the industry records. The outcome, the selected KPIs are crucial indicators of the company's operational efficiency and competitiveness. Has it solved the problem? No, it just established that yes, the KPIs we are choosing, they are the right ones. Now we go to the second step, which is the data collection. The company collects data on its chosen KPIs from its internal records and systems. The outcome is that the collected data serve as a baseline that becomes the control to measure the company's current performance. Then the third is the benchmark data collection. The company gathers benchmark data from industry report, competitors, and relevant industry associations. For example, they assess reports that provide industry averages for production cycle times and inventory turnover rates. The outcome is the benchmark data provides a comparison with the industry standards and the best in-class association. And then the performance gap analysis. By application, the company compares its KPIs with benchmark data, identifying areas where their performance lags behind industry standards. The outcome here is that the analysis reveals that their production cycle time is significantly higher than the industry average, indicating potential inefficiencies in their manufacturing process. Similarly, their inventory turnover is lower, suggesting opportunities for inventory management improvement. So these are just some case studies, and I recommend that as we get the materials, we can review each of these processes and the examples attached to them, and it will help us in understanding. In the sum up of benchmarking, in this practical example, benchmarking helps the manufacturing company gain insights into their operational efficiency by comparing their KPIs to industry benchmark. By identifying performance gaps, they can develop targeted strategies for improvement, potentially reducing production cycle times and optimizing inventory turnover rates to become much more competitive in the industry. Now, I have the balance scorecard. This is one of the techniques that we talk about most in strategy management, balance scorecard. In HR, you talk about balance scorecard. In project management, you talk about balance. In fact, in all of management, we talk about balance scorecard. So what is it all about? The methodology, the balance scorecard is a strategic framework that aligns KPIs with an organization's strategic objective. So for every KPI, it has to be linked to a particular objective. Every KPI has to be linked to a particular objective. Okay. So that's what we mean by balanced scorecard. That's primarily alignment. Okay. Aligning your KPIs to strategic objectives of the organization. The technique, you have number one, strategy mapping. Link KPIs to specific strategic goals and objectives. Then we have the cascading. Ensure KPIs are cascaded down through the organization to align with departmental and individual goals. So it doesn't just stop at corporate goals, but it has to go down to departments. Every KPI must be addressed towards a departmental need, or departments, their KPIs must meet up with their own objective within the department. At the same time, individuals, their KPIs should also be traced or linked to the things they want to achieve, their goals and objectives. They have the dashboard creation, visualize KPI performance using scorecards or dashboards. Example, a case study on balanced scorecard. So you have a global technology company aims to align its performance measurement with its strategic objective. They decide to implement the balanced scorecard framework to ensure their key performance indicators are closely tied to their strategic goals. Methodology, the balanced scorecard is a strategic framework that aligns KPIs with an organization's strategic objective. The first technique there is the strategy mapping. Application, the company identifies its strategic objectives, which includes expanding market share, increasing customer satisfaction, improving product quality, and enhancing employee skills. These are the key strategic objectives that they want to develop KPIs for. Okay, the outcome, the strategic objectives serve as the foundation for selecting the relevant KPIs that directly measure progress towards these goals. The second phase of it is the cascading application here. Once the strategic objectives are established, they are cascaded down through the organization. Each department and team is tasked with defining their contribution to this objective. The outcome here is that as the objectives cascade, teams identify specific KPIs that align with their responsibilities and are essential to achieving the overarching strategic goals. Then you have the dashboard creation. Application here will mean the company creating a digital performance dashboard that usually represents KPIs related to each strategic objective. For instance, they use a dashboard to display metrics like market share percentage, net promoter score for customer satisfaction, defect rate for product quality, and employee training hours. The outcome is that the dashboard provides real-time, easily digestible data for managers and employees to monitor their progress toward strategic objectives. Green, yellow, and red indicators signal whether KPIs are on track or need attention. Okay. Note, with this balanced scorecard implementation, the technology company ensures that its KPIs are not only aligned with strategic objectives, but also communicated throughout the organization. Teams and individuals understand how their work contributes to the organization's broader goals, fostering a result-driven culture and promoting strategic alignment. So the balanced scorecard, in essence, is you have a goal and you have a defined KPI to it. And please note that we have a goal does not mean you just have one KPI to a goal. A goal might have more than one KPIs. Okay, a goal might have more than one KPIs. For instance, you have a goal for market share expansion. So if you want to talk about market share expansion, you want to look at the sales, you want to look at the revenue, you want to look at maybe you want to look at product line. Okay, you want to look at quality of products, you want to look at customer feedback or customer satisfaction on those products. Okay, those are the things that, those are the KPIs that will have some relationship to deal with expanding the market share. So that you have one goal does not mean that you have one KPI. You could have one goal with multiple KPIs. Okay, you could have one goal with multiple KPIs. Now have the key risk indicators, KRIs. The methodology here is used to assess and manage risks that could impact an organization's objective. The techniques, you have risk identification, risk assessment, and monitoring. The risk identification has to do with identifying potential risks that could affect KPI performance. The risk assessment has to do with assessing the likelihood and impact of each risk on KPIs. Then monitoring has to do with continuous monitoring of KRIs to detect early warning signs of emerging risks. Now let's look at this case study. A financial institution wants to proactively manage risks that could impact its financial stability and customer trust. They decide to implement a KRI framework to identify, assess, and monitor risks related to their key business objective. Methodology, KRIs are used to assess and manage risks that could impact an organization's objective. The methods used or the techniques used, you have risk identification. By application, the financial institution conduct risk identification workshops, identifying key stakeholders from various departments, including credit, compliance, and operations. The outcome here is that through this workshop, the organization defines or identifies potential risks such as credit default risk, regulatory compliance risk, and cybersecurity risk, which could impact their key objectives like profitability, regulatory compliance, and customer trust. You also have the risk assessment, which by application will mean for each identified risk, the financial institution assesses both the likelihood and potential impact on its KRIs. For example, they evaluate the likelihood of a cybersecurity breach and potential impact on customer trust and financial stability. The outcome will be by quantifying the likelihood and impact, the institution prioritizes risk based on their severity and develop risk mitigation strategies accordingly. Then you have the last one there, still on KRI, is monitoring. The application, the institution establishes a continuous monitoring system for KRIs. For example, they set up real-time cybersecurity threat detection tools and conduct regular credit risk assessment. On the outcome, continuous monitoring helps the organization detect early warning signs of emerging risks. If there is a sudden increase in the cyber threat activity or decline in creditworthiness indicators, the institution can take immediate corrective actions to prevent adverse impact on KPIs. Then we have the Six Sigma. The Six Sigma methodology focuses on process improvement and reduces variation in process that impact KPIs. We have the techniques here. We have what we call the DMAIC, which is define, DMAIC, DAMIC, define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. The methodology is staged towards structured problem-solving approach that involves data collection, analysis, and process optimization. They have the statistical process control, monitoring and controlling processes in real time using control charts to ensure they meet desired performance levels. The case study here, you have a manufacturing company aiming to reduce defects in its production process to improve product quality and customer satisfaction. They decide to implement the Six Sigma to achieve their goal. The methodology is the Six Sigma, which focuses on process improvement and reducing variation in process 6 that impact KPIs. So the first technique to be used was the DMAIC methodology. First thing is defining. The company defines the problem, which is a high defect rate in the manufacturing process. They set a specific goal to reduce defects by 50% within 6 months. Then the measure, data on defects are collected and measured to establish baseline. They also identify critical processes or critical process parameters that might affect defects. They have the analyze, which is statistical analysis performed to identify root cause of defects. This involves tools like the Pareto charts, cause and effect diagrams, and regression analysis. They will have the improve. Based on the analysis, the company devised 6 improvement strategies. They make changes to processes such as adjusting machine setting and providing additional training to operators. They have the control. Once the process improvement are implemented, the company establishes control mechanisms to ensure that the defect rate remains low. This includes regular process monitoring and the use of control charts. Okay, then we have the SPC, statistical process control. By application, the company employs control charts to monitor the production processes in real time. They collect data on defect occurrences and compare it to control limits. The outcome is that by using control charts, the company can dictate any variations or trends in defects as soon as they occur. This allows for immediate corrective action, ensuring that the processes remain within desired performance levels. Okay, I would have loved to read more and more of this, but these are just some of the examples, and we recommend that in our own time, we could go through them one after the other. All right, in conclusion, strategy, performance, and evaluation are essential for tracking progress, adapting to changing conditions, and ensuring that an organization's strategic initiatives remain effective and aligned with its goals. Developing effective KPIs is a critical part of performance management. Well-defined KPIs help organizations measure progress, make data-driven decisions, and ultimately achieve their strategic goals. Measuring KPIs is a crucial aspect of performance management. It empowers organizations to assess progress, measuring KPIs is a crucial aspect of performance management. It empowers organizations to assess progress, make informed decisions, and drive continuous improvement. And that's where we're going to be hanging our towel today. Please, when we share these materials, feel free to get access to them, and please review accordingly. If you have questions at any time, feel free to get back to us. Meanwhile, please, questions, contributions on measuring of KPIs. Measurement of KPIs. Any question for me? Any question for me? I'm still looking out for questions, contributions, comments. So if there are no questions and comments at the time, please. Okay, and go ahead.
There's a comment here.
Go ahead, sir.
You know, I say whenever you take any class, you cause disruption. So today again, you've succeeded in shattering my KPI. I'm setting new ones for myself today. So, and you've given me more tools, more advanced tools to measure the progress I'm making. So this is just to thank you for always being there and for always giving us reasons to want to advance the cause of ourselves and that of humanity. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. That is deeply appreciated. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. While we await other comments, please let's be reminded, we'll continue our class tomorrow. And tomorrow, we would like to look at, we've actually covered the domains of strategic management now. We've covered formulation, implementation, performance evaluation. So we've covered the three basic sides. So if I allow you now, you are good to go as a strategic management consultants, because now you can critically look at strategies or look at organizations and know how to formulate strategies. implement strategies and evaluate strategies. Nonetheless, yes, Mr. Andrews, you would like to say something? Your mic is open. Okay, so maybe that was a mistake. Okay, so tomorrow we would like to.
Yes, on management, I registered that one too. I wanted to know, is there any difference between what you're doing and then what the Project Management Institute from USA, PMI is also doing, or they are the same line?
Okay, so we all do almost the same things, just as the way we went. Just as the way we went to university. If you are studying accounting in Ghana University, or you're studying accounting in Nigeria University, it is the same curriculum.
Oh,
but what now is the name of the organization.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Thank you so much. Sorry, the network is somehow breaking. I'm only hearing in part.
Oh, sorry. I said I'm interested in the project management.
Okay.
Yeah. And I learned the session this week.
Okay, amazingly, it's like you're the only one in this class now that have not taken our project management class. Engineer Shwaibu and Barrister Gabe, they've all taken the project management course.
Yeah.
Engineer
In fact,
project
I did it initially with you, but unfortunately, I think the last week within the day, I traveled, so I was not able to involve much the last day.
Oh, I see.
And for that matter, I was not able to get my certificate on. That's the reason why I wanted to join for this session too.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's all right. You're very much welcome. Okay. Like I said, let me ask you now. Okay, Barrister Gabe, you want to say something? It's like your mic was open.
Yes, just to thank you for the sacrifice and for everything. Now, PMI is the ultimate of these institutes. Now, our certification with IIPM, assuming that we want to obtain the registration with the Project Management Institute, can our certificate qualify us?
Okay, that's a very good question. Both PMI and IIPM, none of us are regulatory agencies. We are just training and development organizations, professional bodies, but not regulatory agencies. Okay, so you cannot use IPM certification to go and get certificates from PMI. And you cannot use PMI certificate to come and get certificates in IPM. That would be like you trying to get double certification. But what you can do is, maybe if you want to get a PMI certification, you can ask for a waiver. You can write and ask for a waiver. So they will give you waiver in certain areas if they wish, based on their own standard. If they wish to give you waiver on their exam, that is their own. But if they said, okay, we are giving you waiver on maybe project, we are giving you waiver on some courses, but you have to rewrite your exam for us to be sure that you actually did project management. That could also be theirs. However, we have direct partnership or direct accreditation from the Chartered Institute of Management Consultants, USA. So CIMC is more like a regulatory framework for management consulting in USA. So if you want to get your license as a licensed or chartered project management professional. You don't need to write any other exam to get that. Whether in Nigeria or US, I don't know whether Ghana has anybody that is responsible for regulation of project management. But provided you have your professional certification, you can use that to apply for your license. In Nigeria, we have the CIPMN, Chartered Institute of Project Management of Project Managers of Nigeria, something like that. So if you want to get chartered now, you only use your certification to apply and you get your charter. That's the license to practice. The same way you will use your PMI to apply and you get your charter. But both organizations, they offer the same certification. So it's just like you going to university, National State University to obtain a master's, and then another person going to University of LASU to obtain University of Lagos to obtain a master. Both are masters. Okay, but you can use both now to proceed for your PhD if you wish. That's the same way it works here. That's the same way it works.
So, Doc, if hearing you well, meaning if you hold your PMP certified program management certification from your end,
yeah,
you can use that one to apply for the charter or the license.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So
Doc, for program management, I wanted to know much about that. If you are holding a certification, where do you get the license from? Do you have to apply the license from the Project Management Institute?
Okay, so Project Management Institute do not offer license. They are not a government regulatory body. It's only a government regulatory agency or body that can offer a charter.
The license.
Yes.
Okay.
License. So in Nigeria, we have Chartered Institute of Project Management of Nigeria, CIPMN. So if you want to now get your license practice in Nigeria, you go to CIPMN with your certification, you get your charter. Maybe they will do a 1 day or 2 day workshop to accustom you to the project management laws in the land.
Okay.
The same thing will happen if you go to Ghana. Maybe a 1 day or 2 days workshop to accustom you with the project environment, the laws, the regulations that you need to abide with as a project manager in that country. So that's how it works.
Hello, Doc.
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh God.
The network is wonderful.
So meaning the certificate, right?
Sorry, sir, I didn't get that.
What I mean is that the certification that is being issued by your institute,
yes,
is it issued in collaboration with CIMC?
No. Okay, so in your certificate, you will get a reading that says this institute is accredited by blah 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 blah. Chartered Institute. That is accreditation.
Okay.
That is not a charter.
Okay.
Not a license.
Okay.
So if you now want to get a license, you can then request for a license. You want to become a charter.
From the regulators. Okay.
So you can then request. You can request for a charter, and then we'll apply for you because you did the training through us. So we apply to CIMC on your behalf, and then the certificate will be brought.
Oh, okay.
But in your
own
country now, you can, if there is anybody, if there is any agency like maybe Ghana Institute, Chartered Institute of Project Management, Ghana, if there is anything like that and it is government regulatory agency, you can walk up to them and tell them you want to get your license. You've already done your certification. They will tell you the things you need to do. Of course, you need to make some payments. Okay. They will tell you to make payments. And then sometimes, like in Nigeria, they will organize a 2 days workshop for you to get to the project management rules and regulation in Nigeria.
Okay.
We will get you accustomed to that. But if you want to get from CIMC US, for instance, you want us to help you get that of US, there is no extra training needed. So it's expected that you go the extra mile to read about project management rules and regulation in US. Of course, it's expected that if you do project management, you have the global context of the rules and regulations of project management, which is more like the US version.
Okay.
So you might not need to do any extra training to get your or your charter. That's for US. That's for US.
Okay.
But for Ghana and Nigeria, I don't know much about Ghana, but in Nigeria, they will organize an extra 2 days workshop for you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, Doc, when I'm done with this, and then I need the charter certification from CIMC. I hope IPM can facilitate for me that.
Yes. We always
Okay.
make a call towards the end of the year. So anything from October, we'll start sending emails for those who may want to get the charter. So some may want to in emotional intelligence, some may want to get chartered in project management, some may want to get chartered in management consulting, whichever one. But we just keep gathering them till when we are done, and then we send it. We make the payments on behalf of the students, they process and send to us, and then we disperse.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. It's good. When I'm done with the night to fast.
It's all right.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, Barrister Gabriel, his network has been going on and off. Maybe it's time for him to rest. Okay, so just to summarize all of what we've done today, I said we'll continue tomorrow. Officially, I would say we've completed strategic management, but let's add some icing on the cake. So we'll complete these sections by next week, Saturday. Please bear with me. We'll deal with strategic leadership, change management, strategic entrepreneurship, and innovation. Then we will deal with strategic management in global context. And that's just all that is remaining, this 4. So if we'll handle maybe 2 tomorrow, then we'll handle the remaining by Saturday next week. And please, let's be reminded, we are expected to make a presentation. By the end of this class, we're expected to make a presentation. So just take any domain of your choice. You can start to make presentation with relevant case study or strategy formulation. You can decide to make relevant case study on strategy implementation, strategy evaluation, or any other aspect that catches your attention. Okay, so as we keep moving on, we'll go through. Of course, we will need also to be reminded that there is no exam in this particular course. The only exam we have is our presentation. So our presentation will guide us to understanding whether we truly understood what we have been taught or not. Okay, so we look forward to seeing us again tomorrow by 4 p.m. Nigerian time and 3 p.m. Ghana time. Please do enjoy a wonderful weekend, and please do have a good rest. Thank you, and see you tomorrow.
Thank you. God willing, tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Sure.